You know what story yesterday came out that made me irrationally angry, and that is that Aaron Rodgers' window to return to the Jets was cracked open as the Jets designated Aaron Rodgers to return from injury reserve just a little more than 2 months following his Achilles tear and his Achilles surgery. That means that Aaron Rodgers can now practice with the team, and you got slow-mo Aaron Rodgers with no one touching him doing football drills out with the Jets yesterday. Anything looks impressive in slow motion. They now have 21 days to activate Rodgers if they decide to. I am convinced that Aaron Rodgers is not going to come back, that he just wants to say that he could have come back. Why on earth would Aaron Rodgers come back behind that offensive line? It's a death trap. Coming off an Achilles surgery? There's no way.
I don't know. I don't care why he wants to come back.
Yeah.
He could come back for the reasons you laid out just to say he wanted to come back. He can come back because he truthfully thinks he's ready to come back, and that competitive fire is moving him to play football again. But somebody's got to step in. Somebody's got to step in and be like, no, you're not doing this. We aren't going to allow you. Put it on us. We stopped you from going out there to play. And then when the legend and the lore of Aaron Rodgers gets told, we'll always be able to say, hey, he wanted to play on that Achilles.
Exactly.
He wanted to play on it. And he would have had this person on the Jets not stopped him. This is a physical sport. It is. This is a violent sport. Controlled violence, sure, but violent. And you're putting him back there in a position to get rocked if he's not healthy enough to protect himself. It's the same issue I had with Alex Smith playing after his injury. I can't remember what it was, ankle snapped or whatever. I can't remember exactly what the injury was, but it was like, is he healthy enough to protect himself from these dudes? Because as a defensive player, it's my job to get you on the ground, and your job is to not hit the ground. So we are going to wrestle until you're on the ground. If you're not healthy enough to protect yourself from the hits that I'm going to give, you're going to end up severely hurt. It's something I wish that the Warriors would have done with Kevin Durant, where they step in and say, hey, KD, I know it's NBA Finals, but no, we're not going to have you out there with this type of injury, because the risk is what the risk is. And we saw Kevin Durant against the Toronto Raptors tried to give it a go, and before the first half ended, he was done for the next season because of his Achilles. Klay Thompson took a little bit more time, still injured with the Achilles. Right. I think we can take time and let people's bodies heal all the way before we stick them back out there. And if the players don't want to do it, fine. They should want to get out there and play. But somebody with some sense on the medical staff or on the coaching staff need to step up and say, no, Aaron, we're not going to let you do this.
It's such a random injury. Like, so much of an Achilles injury is random. Like, oh, it popped, it ruptured. Bad luck, dumb luck. So if you're in a situation where you can prevent further damage, and we've seen, with Cam Akers, who came back a little under a year after tearing his Achilles, came back and then this season ruptured his other Achilles, which is becoming more and more of a commonality, where if you rupture one side of your Achilles because of the overcompensation, your odds of rupturing the other one go up significantly, or having a knee injury on the other side, or a knee injury on the same side. It just seems so dumb. And to Robert Saleh's credit, he at least said Aaron Rodgers is far from being able to play in a game. He's far from game ready. But I really do think it's the hubris of Aaron Rodgers wanting to be Mr. Modern Medicine and come out and say, it's different for me. I'm different. I did my own research, and I was good enough to come back. And he is king of the I do my own research. And that's who he is. And we fall for it time and time again. And we get the slow-mo videos, and we saw him without his crutches early. But, I understand. I've made it perfectly clear. I am not a professional athlete. I am just a lowly 3-on-3 basketball player, a plebeian who tore her Achilles randomly one day. I'm about 10 months out from surgery. I'm trying to run the FedEx St. Jude 5K on Saturday. And I say trying because I never know how my Achilles is going to feel on any given morning. I put a pair of shoes on this morning and had to say, nope, not that pair. It hit the back of my heel in a weird way, and it was excruciating. And so I just had to be like, no, it's okay. It's fine. And I get it. I don't have the medical staff of an NFL team. I don't have millions and millions of dollars. In the Achilles tendon rupture group on Facebook, somebody put up, us town folk being compared to Aaron Rodgers is very unfair. And I've never thought of myself as a town folk but call me a townie of the Achilles group because we are just normal people. And so it's always not going to be a normal recovery for athletes in comparison. But this is so abnormal and so stupid. Like, why?
Just dangerous.
And you're old.
Dangerous.
Every year older, the harder it is.
While you are a Towns person, I guess I'm a Towns person also, and we can't be compared to the athletes of our time because all the reasons you laid out, the treatment that they get, the way they take care of their bodies, the things they did to their bodies to get them to this point from a being in shape standpoint, being flexible, being strong, we don't do. I understand that. But dudes on the other side of the field do.
Yep.
And guess what? They are athletes as well, and they are bigger and faster than we've ever seen in the NFL. And they are coming to collide with him full speed to get him on the ground. And I don't care how good or bad the offensive line is. Eventually, a quarterback does face some sort of pressure. Eventually, somebody does come off of that edge and is ready to hit you. You're going to get hit. Maybe not sacked, probably hurt, definitely hit, knocked around, and jostled a bit. So if he can't protect himself because of that Achilles, if his Achilles isn't allowing him to cut, to move in the pocket, and probably not to scramble outside of the pocket, to run away from large men who are coming to wallop him, it's dangerous to put him back there because we could be looking at a situation where it starts off as an Achilles and the Achilles gets re-ruptured or something worse happens to the lower body. 1. 2, something happens to the upper body, specifically neck and head region, because he's just not able to get down in time, and somebody's coming off of that edge, one of the Bosas or a Myles Garrett, or, well, I saw an interesting stat on the Bosa. We can talk about that.
Ooh, another post-show conversation?
Well, we can talk about it right now. Who's the Bosa for the 49ers?
Nick Bosa.
Nick Bosa? Doesn't like sacking white quarterbacks, apparently.
Shocking.
Apparently, he really gets after it with the black ones.
Is that empirical data?
No, it's actual data that's been collected. I think that his average sacks against white quarterbacks is like 0.4. Black quarterbacks is 0.9.
So Aaron Rodgers is
a game.
Safe
So Aaron Rodgers is
but
safe.
less so with others.
Yeah, but again, there are Aaron Donalds of the world are coming through there. Like, there are large men coming through to try and tackle him because their livelihood depends on it. If he's not able to protect himself, like, he's
right.
It's not worth the risk.
No, it's not. Some of the other best posts was that this will now be a new way to determine a person's pay grade. If you tear your Achilles and you say, how long did it take to return to normal activity? And someone of Aaron Rodgers' pay grade says 21 days. And a normal person says 8 to 12 months. That's where it stands at this point. It's just wild. And I understand. I'm hypersensitive to it. And all of the people. But the second this came out, I can always count on the Achilles group because within like 5 minutes, this post was up. And there's 73 comments on this post of people complaining, or people who have the conspiracy theory that he didn't actually tear his Achilles, that it was just a really bad high ankle sprain, or that it was a specific kind of a Achilles tear that was less than one that would take longer to recover from, or that he had peptide injections which aren't available to, again, normal town folk type people, but are on the cutting edge of science. Who knows? Whatever it is, I'm saying it right now. Aaron Rodgers is not playing for the New York Jets this year, and all of this conversation is for naught. Like, there's just no way.